guys, so I bring to you today the 90s tag, and I was actually avoiding this for a little while because I looked at the questions and I'm like, I don't remember anything. I was born in 1990, so I lived throughout the whole 90 era. However, I was 1 through 10, so I don't remember much of the 90s. Stop being loud. I'll cuddle you in a second. I'm just gonna get right started. First question, favorite TV show. I had a lot of favorite TV shows growing up. I, to this day, love TV. It's like my life. And that's really sad, but it's true. And so I would say overall my favorite show of the whole decade was Rugrats. And that had to be my show. Like, that was my show. I loved every aspect of it until Dill was born, Tommy's little brother. Once he was born, I kind of stopped watching, plus I was getting older at that time, so I was growing out of that phase. Other shows I liked, Wild Thornberrys, obviously. I don't really remember. Oh, Hey Arnold, Doug. I loved all the original Nickelodeon shows. I didn't watch too much of Cartoon Network shows or Nick Jr. shows. I did watch a lot of Blue's Clues when I was probably 5 and 6, and a lot of Barney. A lot of Barney in my life. Favorite toy? Oh gosh, I loved my toys. I'm gonna tell you a really embarrassing fact about me. I didn't stop playing with toys, like Barbies and stuff, until I was 13 years old. How embarrassing is that? I don't know if that's just me. I played with my Barbies until I was 13. I don't know. I also sucked my thumb until I was about 10. We're just getting really personal here with the 90s tag. So my favorite toy had to have been my Barbies. I was a huge fan of Polly Pockets, any sort of little figurine type things. I loved playing Barbies though. I actually had a bookshelf. I think it may even be the same one that I have here. I don't know though. My mom would have to confirm, but I had a bookshelf that I didn't use for books. I made a Barbie mansion out of it, and each shelf was a different floor to their house, and I loved it so, so much. Favorite commercial. This is the one that I had trouble remembering because I don't remember a lot from that decade. I remember the Skip It commercials. Those were really funny with the little, it's like a thing you put around your ankle and then you spin it around, you like skip it. I don't know. You would know what I'm talking about if you grew up in the 90s. I had one and I loved it, and I loved the commercials for it. They made it look so fun. NSYNC or Backstreet Boys? I liked both, but I was definitely a Backstreet Boy girl for sure. NSYNC, I didn't like too much. I mean, I liked some of their songs, but Backstreet Boys, they were my obsession when I was growing up. Weirdest fashion trend. I had trouble remembering this because I remember this is more like early 2000s when I was more of a teenager with like the bedazzled jeans and stuff like that. But the puffer jackets I remember from the 90s, and just like the, you know what I'm talking about, the I can't even explain it. The puffer jackets. I'll insert a picture, you know what I'm talking about. Favorite collectibles. The only thing I remember collecting, I've collected 2 things in my life. The first one being Hot Wheels. I know that's really weird. I collected cars, like little toy cars, but I didn't play with them like a boy would play with them. I played with them like they were Barbies. They all had their personalities, they all had names, they were in relationships with each other. And then I also collected guitar picks. I don't play guitar. I have a guitar, I don't play it. Favorite Beanie Baby? I liked Prance the Gray Tabby Cat. My mom still has a little tabby Beanie Baby. I think it was mine and I gave it to her. I had a kitten. I don't know what I was saying. I had a kitten when I was younger, and he was a tabby cat, and I think he ran away. His name was Tigger. And so I had a Beanie Baby that was a tabby cat because it reminded me of my cat. So that's my long story for my favorite Beanie Baby. How many Tamagotchis did you go through? I wasn't an avid Tamagotchi user. I had maybe 2 or 3 total in the 90s. Now Furbies, that's a different story. Favorite game console and game? Well, to this day, I'm not a gamer. I've never really been, you know, a super gamer or anything like that. I do like some games. Right now I'm playing Roller Coaster Tycoon and Amnesia, The Dark Descent. which is a scary game. I'm working on it. It's a PC game. I can only really play PC games or like handheld because I have no hand-eye coordination for console games. I don't know, I'm just incompetent. So watching me play Halo is the most ridiculous, hilarious thing in the world. But I really loved in the 90s Game Boy Advance color. To be specific, the clear purple kind is what I had, and I actually saved up with my own money and bought it for myself. That was the first thing I've ever purchased for myself in my life, and I earned the money. Obviously I was little, I didn't work. My parents had a swear jar that they would have to put in, I forgot the amounts, but whenever they cussed, they had to put in money in it. And I think they were honestly somewhat deliberate in their swearing sometimes, so they'd be able to give me money. But I saved all that money up and got a Game Boy. And then the game that I absolutely loved was, what was it called? I had to look it up. Rugrats Time Travelers. I played that so much. And then there was a SpongeBob game that I played, but I don't really remember it. Favorite Disney Channel original movie? I wasn't a fan of Disney growing up. I'm still not a fan of Disney. Never cared for it, never watched it. I was a Nickelodeon girl. 100% hands down Nickelodeon was... I wish that they would come back with a lot of Nickelodeon original shows. The stuff they have nowadays is so weird. Anybody else think that today's shows are like weird? I don't know. Maybe that's why the children of today are so weird. But yeah, I didn't watch a lot of Disney Channel movies or anything, so the only one I can come up with is Cadet Kelly, but that came out in the 2000s, so that's not really an answer for this question, so I'm gonna skip it. Like the toy. Favorite music artist? Well, besides Backstreet Boys, Spice Girls. Who didn't love the Spice Girls? I still love the Spice Girls. Secret fact about me, I still listen to the Spice Girls. Still a secret fan. Actually, it's not really secret because I'm not ashamed of it or anything. I don't want to hide it. I love the Spice Girls to this day. Favorite Nick Jr. show? Well, Rugrats was on Nick Jr. and I watched that one all the time, but when I was younger, I would watch Blue's Clues all the time. I love Blue's Clues. I remember my friend Sam and I, not the Sam you guys know, my best friend, I'm still friends with her today. We've been friends since I was 5. My mom would babysit her, and so we would watch Blue's Clues the whole time we hung out. It was awesome. Favorite candy? I don't know if this came out in the 90s, but it was Baby Bottle Pop. I remember eating a lot of those. Ring Pops, Push Up, what are they called? The Push Pops? Are those what they are? Push Pops, stuff like that. All about that. Still get them today in the grocery store, and I'm like a 5-year-old. I'm like, ooh, Baby Bottle Pop, and I buy them. Favorite game? I specifically remember sitting in my living room when I was about 4 or 5 in the town I was born in. I'm not gonna tell you where because it's right next to where I live now. But I remember sitting there and playing Light Bright in the living room all the time. And I don't even remember the basis of that game. I really don't. Favorite McDonald's Happy Meal toy? Any of the Barbie ones. I was a huge Barbie girl, loved my Barbies, especially the mini ones. I had a lot of mini type figurine doll things, like the Polly Pockets with the stretchy clothes. Yeah, I remember those. I had a lot of those. That was probably in the early 2000s though. But the little baby Barbie dolls from McDonald's were amazing. Favorite book? I read a lot of Shel Silverstein as a child. What else? Roald Dahl. I read, these are favorite authors, not really books. I'll get into books. Roald Dahl, I loved. I still have all my Roald Dahl books, and those I'm gonna have for life. The Giving Tree was another favorite. And Love You Forever. This is one that my mom would read to me when I was like 4, I remember. My mom and I, that's still a meaningful book to me. And my mom, the phrase from it is that I remember, I'll love you forever, I'll like you for always, as long as I'm living, my baby you'll be. And it's such a cute story. Oh my gosh. It just defines my mother and I don't know. I can't explain it, but my mom and I have a great relationship, and that is like our book. Favorite clothing store from the 90s? I grew up somewhat poor. More so after my parents got divorced did I grow up poor, but in the 90s, my parents actually got divorced in 2000. I think it was final like 2001, but I was 10, so, but in the 90s, I'm trying to think. I mean, I mainly shopped at like Kmart and stuff like that, not really Walmart. but that's all my family could really afford. I can't remember like when I was really little where my mom would buy my clothes. She made a lot of clothes. I remember being mistaken for a boy all the time because my mom would dress me up in like these blue overalls. Maybe that's why I'm so in like androgynous with my fashion today. I mean, I'm still a girl, but you know, I wear more masculine clothes sometimes. But maybe that's why. I don't know. I always was a boy, considered a boy by other people. Last question. What would you watch when you'd get home from school? I can't tell you. I tried remembering really hard and I don't remember. I do remember when I was really little, before I went to preschool, I had to sit down and watch Barney with my mom, and she had to sing the I Love You song with me. And if she didn't, I would cry and cry until she sat down and watched it and sang it with me. I was very determined to be loved as a child. I don't know. I can tell you, as I got older, I would sneakily watch, like after my bedtime, I had a TV in my room and I would like turn it on and watch Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch all the time. The Brady Bunch I grew up with, I love that show, and my mom would get so sick of the theme song, she'd make me like mute it or turn it off. But those two shows were my little treat, were Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch. Now that I'm officially like losing my voice from speaking so loudly to the camera and talking so much, I'm gonna go. So I hope you enjoyed my 90s tag. I may tag some people, I don't know. I never know when I sit down to film it, and I decide kind of later as I'm editing it. But if you want to do this, if you remember anything from the 90s, you can either leave it in the comments or video response it if you decide to film it. I'd love to hear your responses to these questions. And the 90s was such a fun era and such a fun decade, and you know, the fashion is kind of back in today and I love it. I love 90s fashion, except for some things obviously. But I love the interpretation of today's fashion with the 90s inspiration, if that makes sense. I love it so much. So that is all for the 90s tag. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.